What do your feet look like? They're facing forward. We have squares on our floor, so it's always good to follow the colors of the squares. But interactive modeling is so powerful that it sets you up for the rest of the school year. So we're really spending a lot of time in our morning meetings, and everything that we do as a community to make sure that that modeling happens. So this says, teaches children to notice and internalize expected behaviors through teacher modeling and student practice. So practice, practice. Practice makes progress. That's our saying. It doesn't make perfect. So we tell kids that all the time. Practice makes, someone told me that today, Mrs. Burns, practice makes progress. It does, we're getting there. So this is, Chris, I'm going to ask you, I'm not sure how to do it.
Before we sit down, who can raise their hand and remind me what we need to do when we come to our morning meeting? Think about how we sit. What do you remember from last week? We've only had a couple days together. What do you remember about last week, Tara? Yeah. What else do you remember about how we come to the carpet, Caroline? Anything else you remember, Sarah?
You put your eye on the speaker.
Okay. You're noticing my new sign, aren't you? So watch how I sit in the circle, and then I'm going to invite you to do that. So just watch first. What did you notice that I did? Lexa, what did you notice?
You were quiet and you didn't say anything to anybody.
What else did you notice? Samantha?
First class was up, and I was a little bit
Is there somebody else who can show us that? Sarah, go ahead and show us. All right. What did you notice Sarah did? Jackson?
She sat down quietly and she didn't talk to anyone.
With the girls, show us they can do that, please. Gentlemen, go ahead and do that, please.
And you notice she modeled the correct behavior. Not, oh, I noticed kids are talking, or I noticed she's not sitting cross apples. So she just states the behavior in a positive way. Even when we're modeling, it's always modeling the correct behavior that we want. It's not that you're doing something wrong, but this is the way it's done. So always interacting. We model the correct behavior. Have I forgotten anything, colleagues? About interactive modeling? You want to add something, Cindy?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I learned from my 4-day training was that with interactive modeling, it's the visual cue and the integration and kids noticing something versus a teacher telling them this is what you need to do. It's students noticing those behaviors, commenting on those behaviors, sharing and discussing it, and so it becomes easier for them to integrate it into their daily practice versus the teacher saying this is what you need to do. This is what we decide to do as a community. And I think that's the difference with interactive modeling. And if you notice, it's a 7-step process where the teacher will connect it to a rule. There's a reason why we have to act, we behave this way. It's connected to one of the rules that we've established in the first 6 weeks of school. And so there's a rationale and a reason to do it. It's not just doing it because the teacher says. All of this is connected to the rules that we create and the kind of community that we want to develop. And so it's always connected to a rule. The teacher models it. They tell what they notice. Then they'll ask one student to do it. Again, the students will notice it, and then they all get to practice that skill. So it really is a lot of work to develop that skill, and there's reasons why they do it.
Practicing.
So we talked a little bit about the positive teacher language already, but teachers use positive words and tone as a tool to promote active learning, a sense of community, and self-discipline. You have the sheet in front of you that Lori Hayden provided. If you want to take that out for a minute, if it was in color, it would, at the top, I don't have the sheet for me, but there's red, yellow, and green, and can I go back? So the reinforcing language is the green light. That one is supposed to be about approximately 70 to 80% of the language teachers use all day. Reinforcing those expectations that we want students to see. You're reinforcing, I noticed you did this. I heard you say, so it's all of the language that's reinforcing what they're doing correctly, so you're catching them essentially doing what you expect. And the more we reinforce what they're doing correctly, the less we're going to have to use the reminding and redirecting language. The reminding language is in the yellow. I'll begin when everyone's ready, or remind me of what the expectation is. And then the redirecting language is the one we try to use the least, but that's stop, walk, and telling them explicitly what you expect them to do. In this video that you're going to see, it's the same person that was in the first video. If Chris wants to help again with the video. She's my favorite. Susie is the teacher. It is a kindergarten one again. But you see her use of the language. And in this use of the language that she has in this video, it's amazing. She uses all three types of language, the reminding, the reinforcing, and the redirecting language. But you'll get to see her in action. And it's pretty great.
Reading period? I noticed that so many people quickly stopped what they were doing. Everyone was so busy. So many people stopped right away and got ready, showing me they're listening. It is time to clean up from choice, and then you're going to go right into your jobs. Zeb, show me you're listening. So, who can raise their hands to tell us what they're going to do when the lights go on to start cleaning up at choice? Michael?
House.
Tell me more. What are you going to do?
We're going to clean up the whole house area.
Okay, so you're going to clean up things that are around in the space station? Who else can tell what they're going to be doing when the lights go on? Rachel?
I'm going to clean up my spaceship.
Keziah?
I'm going to say goodbye to my parents
Where are you going to put it?
in the box.
Okay. And how about Daniel?
I'm going to go to snacks in the back.
All right, if you have nothing to clean up, you can go right to your jobs and make sure you're helping other people.
So you saw how she started out with the reinforcing language. I noticed so many of you, and she reinforced what the expectation was. And pointing that out to the students sets the tone. If there's a couple that aren't, that reminder helps the others kind of get back on track. So that's an example of the three types of language: the reminding, reinforcing, and redirecting language.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
What you'll notice that they step away from language like I like or I love. I like how you cleaned up, or I love how you cleaned up, because it puts value on there. So when a child is not meeting the expectation, it doesn't mean that you don't like them or love them. So you'll notice that in the language, you don't hear that kind of language of I like what you did or I love what you did. It's I noticed you, because it puts the ownership of the behavior on the student again, and not on your judgment of them. It's like, I noticed that you did this, and so they take pride in their work and what they've done. It's their actions and what they do, and it's independent of how you view them. Does that, any questions about that?
I'm lost right now because I can't hear half the words you're
Okay.
saying.
Okay, go ahead. But Cindy's absolutely right.
So a lot of times you'll hear teachers say, I like the way you cleaned up, or I love that you did creative writing. And that always makes the student dependent on what the teacher thinks and likes and doesn't like. And so when a student doesn't meet the expectation, they may think that the teacher doesn't like them or love them. And when we say words like, I noticed that you cleaned up well, the area, we're being very specific, we're giving them specific feedback on what they've done, but the ownership of the behavior is theirs. And so the more that we notice what the students are doing, and the value is all placed on the student, and versus whether the teacher likes it or not, they're taking ownership for their own behavior. When we use words that's listed here, like, I noticed, I heard you said this. This is all what the students are doing and not necessarily the teacher's opinion of them. Does that, any other questions about that?
Cindy,
Yes?
my question is, in your previous district, were they using this program there as well?
No, they were a very strong PBIS district, and we were PBIS, but I think it wasn't sustained fully, and this is, I think, more and more, I know there's other districts throughout our state that now are adopting responsive classroom as a way of stepping up, whether it's a consequence or a reward. PBS is very strong on giving out tickets and rewards. It is always something external that the student is dependent on. And in this program and this approach, you're asking students to be good human beings, because we always don't get a reward for everything we do. We have to go into our jobs every day and do our jobs, and that's our expectations. And sometimes, that gets noticed, and sometimes it's not, but, that's our expectation in life, that we do our best. And we're good human beings, as Susan Megan likes to say. And there's not always a reward for that, but we just do it because it's the right thing to do.
Thank you.
PBS stands for, I'm guessing, performance-based something.
No, positive behavioral interventions and supports.
John, just to answer your question, a lot of districts are using it, and I was in Cherville previously, and we were using it there, and we were,
Using it there?
yes, we were using it there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And Cindy, it's your turn. Thank you.
So I think that, my colleagues introduced this topic of logical consequences. And so when not all students meet the expectations of the rules that have been established in the first 6 weeks of school, so then what do you do? So the goal here with logical consequences, there's natural consequences and logical consequences. The natural consequence would be if you're tilting on your chair, you may fall, and that's a natural consequence. A logical consequence is one that is associated with the rule or expectation that you did not follow. So a teacher responds to misbehavior in a way that allows students to fix and learn from their mistakes while preserving their dignity. And what's key here is that we want to preserve their dignity. That's very important. This is a very positive approach to interacting with students, and we want to build them up and not tear them down. So one of the things is like, well, how are we going to fix this? We might ask the student, and it's very important to include reteaching in this process. So, for example, if you're misusing a pen or the paints, the teacher might say, well, you're not ready to use this equipment right now. We're going to put it on the side, and you can use something else, because they were misusing the equipment. Another example is if they spilled water. You're going to clean it up because you spilled water. How are we going to fix this? If you said an unkind word to someone, that you might, first of all, apologize. I've also heard of, can you think
doing a lot of the reteaching and modeling about what they should be saying to a student. Because a lot of times, a student might say that Cindy sadly mentioned a snide comment. And certainly we don't want those comments in our school, so we'll sit down in school, think of something nice that you can say, give a compliment. A lot of times that's one of the activities in the morning meeting, give a compliment to someone else in your morning meeting. We at UCole, and I'm sure the other schools as well, there's an acronym that comes along with Responsive Classroom. It's CARES. The C stands for cooperation. The A stands for assertion. So you are standing up for someone or yourself in a positive way, using positive language. The R is responsibility. So the responsibility that you take to carry out the rules of our school. E is empathy, being able to understand another person's position. S is self-control. When you're out of control, how do you regulate your body? And so those are the cares that we've explained in each setting. If you come into UCole, you'll see there's a chart, and that was in our handbook this year, of what are the expectations in each setting? What does it look like in the bathroom, in the classroom, at recess? And so it's very explicit, the expectations that we have for our students. And then sometimes there might be, what we call a thorny behavior. And there is also a resource that Responsive Classroom provides for us that we can, for those behaviors that become a little bit more egregious. And so some of the things we might conference with students, and that's something that we've done, and we've done the thorny behavior book. So that's a little bit about consequences. Any questions? Mr. Bradshaw?
Just really quickly, I'm looking at the example that we have here. So Adam jiggles the table and causes a large spill, the teacher directs that to clean it up. Going back to the reinforcement, reminding, redirecting, does the teacher immediately go to Adam, you need to clean that up, or does the teacher say, I noticed that we're all not being careful with our water, and if we've spilled it, we need. So where is the teacher going to go with?
That's exactly what the teacher might say. Adam, our rules are that we take care of our classroom. A lot of times the rules in the classroom are about taking care of yourself, taking care of your friends, and taking care of your classroom. And so he or she might use that language to say, you notice that, that you spilled the water, how are we going to fix this?
But I guess the question is it directed at the student that did the misbehavior,
yes,
or is it a generalization to, I noticed that we're not all being da-da-da-da-da?
That's a good question. It would be, and the key here is the dignity, whether you're giving praise or whether you're, redirecting a student because of not meeting an expectation. You're going to do that in privacy. So the teacher might go up to them and say, can I have a conference with you? I just want to talk to you about this. And it's not something that's, that should be broadcast throughout the whole classroom, because we want to maintain that student's dignity. And so they'll pull them aside. And even with, if you're doing any praising, some students can't take that praise, and it becomes embarrassing, and you really want to, unless you're praising the whole group of students, you pull that student, like it comes up, you're building relationships, you're building a rapport with your students, you're giving them a sense of belonging and building them up. And so that's the key here. Did I answer your question?
I think so.
Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Bento?
Cindy, participatory rate, is there like an average that's out there, not just towards you, but to all our elementary schools? Is there like, 90% or?
I would say, and I'm going to speak for you, Cole, I would say that we're all.
You're not allowed to opt out.
But I think one of the things that you have to remember that this is a new program, and there's going to be, oops, I didn't get that right, because we did an exercise for teacher language where a situation, exactly what you're speaking, Mr. Bradshaw, there was a situation, that was thrown out to the teachers, and you say, how would you use teacher language? You're changing a culture, you're changing a mindset, and so while we're focused on it, all of our teachers use the times. All of our teachers do morning meetings. Our TAs have been trained, but it's a shift in mindset. So it might take a little bit of time. You're going to have a little slip once in a while. I shouldn't have said it that way, but the teachers are reflecting on it and they're saying, they're really taking this to heart. I think that, yes, 100% our teachers are engaged and have bought into it. And there will be times with some of our more challenging students that we might have to put in some extra supports in there beyond responsive classroom. And that would be the tier 3 kids.
Yeah, that's kind of what I recognize more of the students, maybe with certain challenges at home come in. I just seen a great improvement, in this last 5
I
years.
can, from a personal experience, when I first started at UCole, I would stand at the door and, right now, Erin Schofield can attest to this. I greet students at the car and I open their door and I say, welcome to school, because the same reason that the teachers stand at the door, you welcome them. But I remember my first days at UCole school, I would stand at the entrance and say, good morning, how are you? And I would not get one response. And now it's, I can walk through the hallway, good morning, Mrs. Drew. Maybe they know me more, but good morning, it's all pause in, we give fist pumps, and that's the way we start our day. Ask your nephew.
I plan on being down there to check it out.
Yeah, so I think one of the things is that we're seeing a change in the way the kids respond to us. They're developing the sense that they belong to the school. And so that's where we are. Would you agree? I don't know if you've experienced the same thing, but friendlier on the whole, more open to conversation, easier to de-escalate students when we use this language. I think that's been something that, anecdotally I can attest to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So responsive classroom is a model, and it really is the culture of the building. It's not a set curriculum, and we're going to teach this lesson on this day, but it's just the way that we talk, our common language, and the structures that we have each and every day, and the things that we do. They also tie in with our academics. So the morning meetings, you can tie an academic basis to the foundation of the meeting, but more than that, we're making sure that the kids are ready to learn, so then that academic time becomes much more valuable and much more engaging for the students. And in turn, the academics, the goal with responsive classrooms, the academics are really engaging and energizing for the kids, which will then make this positive cycle where the kids are more engaged, they're going to behave better, and they're behaving better, so they can be more engaged in their academics, and it's a great place to be for learning. One of the things that it does really focus on is allowing students to have some teachers' structured choice in their work that might tie in with some projects or some how they can respond to certain things to show the skills that they know. Maybe it's within their centers that they're doing in the classroom. This is actually something that individualized learning is it's not easy to do, especially when you're given all the standards that we have to make sure all the students are learning. So that's one of the initiatives of the district that we're working on, and each school has a teacher